Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Chris, you enjoy that McDonald's breakfast this morning?
Why would you go after me with that? It's here for everyone. I didn't walk in isolated with the only one with McDonald's. There's a whole bunch of McDonald's out there. I may have had a burrito. What's wrong with you?
Okay, first of all, don't get so damn defensive. Hello, everybody.
And of course he went to you.
Well, when it's coming from Izzy, too. I mean, it's double the crime.
Okay, so who should I have? Who is more associated with food around here that I should have asked that question to?
Anyone but Chris, so that you're not using the person who's associated with
Okay.
food.
I bet
You went right after the obvious guy.
You're right. You're right. My
Fast
fault.
food, probably me, if we're going to be honest.
You're
with
right.
you.
You know
Yes,
what? You're
yes,
right, Billy.
yes.
Did you have some of that McDonald's?
I had
this
3
morning?
hash browns.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I'd have
thought-
another one if I didn't feel like I was being gluttonous and taking it from everyone else. Even though here we have some people that are like, oh, fast food, I could never. Oh, McDonald's breakfast, I could never. Let me tell you something, gang. America was built on McDonald's breakfast.
Tell 'em.
Okay?
That's so
Take
true.
that for whatever it's worth, because some people aren't happy with America right
Yeah,
now.
when
So
they
you could
started
blame
allowing-
McDonald's breakfast.
When they started allowing breakfast past like 10:30, like the world had changed for the better.
I'm going to look up the date that happened because I think you're right.
So, Izzy, I have something. I don't know where you want to go, but because we're on the subject of McDonald's breakfast, I did this with Stugotz. By the way, if you're going to get this conversation, we did this on God Bless Football. Follow us on our socials and our feeds and all that stuff. So, there's this thing that I saw that MrBeast is paying $1 million to anyone. Well, I guess you'd have to come in contact with him. It's not just a random person that does it. But he's paying to $1 million to someone if they can eat $1,000 worth of McDonald's in 36 hours.
Izzy,
That's a lot easier now than it used to be.
Do you know who MrBeast is?
Can I say this? I don't like MrBeast.
Really?
I like that he gives other people money. I have no idea where he gets all this money from. I don't like his sort of contrived enthusiasm to, I can't believe this is happening. And it's just like, I just don't love it.
That was actually a decent Mr.
Yeah,
Beast.
I love the content, the concept. I just don't love his performances in them. But that's neither here nor
I
there.
only asked because I had no idea who Billy was talking about when he brought it up. And then, he told me to ask my kids, and I asked my kids, and they laughed at me for not knowing who MrBeast is.
It is pretty fun. Like, I didn't know who he was until a few months ago when I saw his show on TV. And then Anthony tells me, oh, yeah, he's this YouTuber. And I was like, okay, where does he get all the money? Where does he get all the money?
YouTube.
Yes.
And social media.
It's
From that shtick you don't like.
Well, it's like sponsors too, right? So like a lot of these are sponsored by people. So like they're the ones fronting the bill on these giant like things that he would do. But like he does crazy stuff where he's like, I'm burying myself under the ground for 7 days, and it's like, why? Like you're a multi-millionaire. You don't need to bury yourself under the ground anymore.
I've put a circle in the middle of this room. The last person in it gets $1 million.
He's like a very now that we're talking about this, he's like a very PG G-rated Jigsaw. Right? Like he comes up with these horrific things to have people do, and it's like, if you survive, you'll get $87.50. And they're like, I would love that. $87.50. And it's like, you don't think about it going into it. It's like, wow, I had to like decapitate 3 people to do that.
Or you had to curse out your best friend and you'll never be able to speak to them again.
So McDonald's started serving all-day breakfast in October of 2015, just 2 months after Donald Trump announced his candidacy for the presidency.
They knew we needed it.
And they stopped all-day breakfast in March of 2020.
Unbelievable. I did not know that. I guess I hadn't been often enough. But thank you for bringing us back there, because there was a little bit of a Mr. Beast type of situation to my story here. We weren't supposed to have McDonald's for breakfast this morning. We were supposed to have another place, and I thought, hey, I'm coming in, it's Friday. Oh, yeah, that feels like McDonald's Friday breakfast. We weren't supposed to have that. We were supposed to have something else with some smoothies or whatever. Apparently, somebody else from the hotel went to this breakfast place and took our order. Picked it up, thought it was for him, this giant order.
Seems impossible.
Well, right. And then brought it to the hotel, and Mr. Beast, started handing it out to the staff. There's smoothies, handed it out. And then so we're going down to get breakfast. We see the receptionist with a smoothie, and what the hell?
I actually am okay with this. They work hard at this hotel. Give them the smoothies.
Yeah, we
for
love
a day.
the Elser.
They can
As
have
long
our
as Big
smoothies
Mac
for a
gets
day.
one, we're good.
But that guy
This
walked
wasn't
in.
the Elser's fault. I love the Elser.
No.
It was the guest at the Elser who screwed this up.
The guest went there picking up an order for himself and took the food for 30 people.
Guys, if I ordered on Uber Eats a smoothie and I go downstairs to pick it up and there's 14 smoothies there, guess what? I'm turning it into the Oprah of smoothies.
No, this dude,
you get a smoothie.
No. This dude owes us money.
No, he sounds like Robin Hood to me. This is like a nice guy. He's like, you know what? Look at this. I was blessed with I must have put in 100 smoothies instead of one. Yeah. Let me just hand this out to the staff.
So he stole from the rich and he gave to the poor?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're the bougie ones.
Well, he stole from us.
Here's why I asked Chris. Because if Chris would have walked through the lobby and saw a wagon full of smoothies and said, I know that's our breakfast, I don't want that. Let me give this away to the staff, and then we can circle back, and I know what we're going to get as a backup. McDonald's.
Wow. We're all here playing checkers.
And what we've learned is that Billy really would have been the one who
It
did
would
that.
have been Billy. I think that's the
I
twist
don't
at the end.
I don't begrudge this guy at all. I got hash browns out of this.
Right.
Instead, what would we have gotten? The bread with the
should thank
peanut
him.
butter and
Yeah.
a pickle in the middle. It's
There's
why is
way
there
too
peanut butter
much
and pickle?
pork for breakfast in this place.
Wait, so Billy, what's the latest
Nothing wrong
challenge
with
here
that.
from the Beast? What is the latest challenge of
Mr.
McDonald's?
Beast?
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
The one that I
the Beast.
the one that
Turning
I
into my dad.
Yeah, Brian London. The one that I saw people talking about was you have 36 hours to eat $1,000 worth of McDonald's.
$1,000 worth of McDonald's sounded like a lot of food 10 years ago.
It's a
now, what is
lot.
that, 10 Big Macs?
I mean, you'd have to have 100 Big Macs in 36 hours. How you get to it, it's crazy. Because if you're eating for a family of 3, you're now at McDonald's. It's probably close to $30, which is insane, right? But even that 3, what would you have to do that times? $900. You'd have to have 30 meals for a family of 3 to get to $1,000
In an hour. And you can't,
36 hours, a day and a half.
In an hour?
No, wait, what?
What do you keep saying in an hour? In 36
36
hours.
hours.
Okay, 36 hours.
Yes.
That's a weird amount
In
of
an
time.
hour
I thought
would
it
be
was a day. But
A day and a half,
And you can't choose if it's just 1,000 Big Macs.
You can
it
choose
has to be
whatever
the
you
meat.
want.
Okay.
Just $1,000.
What-
Also, again, I saw this on Instagram or TikTok, so I don't even know if this is real, but we're running with it, which I'm fine with because it's a
Mr.
good
Beast,
challenge.
I
Yeah,
mean.
Mr. Beast. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see.
The Beast.
Chris, you are going to be a beast man this weekend, a best man this weekend.
I have to give a best man speech. First time I'm ever doing it. I've been preparing for weeks, but I'm feeling the pressure of the last couple days. And I'm wondering if anyone here has any advice for me. Anyone given any best man? Stugotz, have you given a best man speech?
Who's getting married? Your brother?
My brother's getting married.
Oh.
My younger brother. Stu, have you given a best man speech?
I am mesmerized because Billy just informed me that Mr. Beast has 390 million followers.
Oh, he's that's what I mean. He's
Yeah.
the biggest
He's
guy on the
big-
internet.
He's the biggest guy on YouTube. And his latest video was from 5 days ago, Stugotz, and it's labeled, "Would you risk drowning for $500,000?"
And just so you know, that's television for young people now. When I was a counselor at the camp that I volunteer at, every single time I left the room and told the kid, oh, yeah, you guys can just watch TV or whatever, what they would do is they'd pull up YouTube and they would watch Mr. Beast videos.
So here's the teaser. I just started the video. It's a 25-minute video. Here's how just the start of it starts, right? And there's a bunch of things that you need to do. But the first thing is just a boulder that he throws off of this floating thing with a chain. And it's 100 feet of chain, and it's strapped to someone's feet, and it's locked on them. He just threw a boulder into a lake, and then for some reason we haven't gotten there yet. There's a bear, and the guy has to grab duffel bags away from this bear. this is all fun and games until it's not, and
No,
I feel
right.
like we're getting very close to the it's not part of this.
Because you're literally signing your life away in that scenario, right? You have to sign a waiver because if you're getting involved with that type of stuff, I mean, drowning for
He'd
a
be
chance
crazy
at
to do this
$500,000?
without a waiver.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
but
there's
even
not really a chance at somebody drowning, is there, Billy?
I mean, there's always a chance of someone drowning. People drown in bathtubs, but like, I feel like if you have the right lawyer, Mr. Beast can't just accidentally kill you and get away with it, right?
I mean, if I'm dead, I don't think I'm going to win that case regardless.
I also wonder, like, if I'm a sponsor for this, I don't know who the sponsors would be for these videos that's putting up all the money for this, right? And I'm the video that Mr. Beast may or may not accidentally have like a bad accident on.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, do we air the video or do we not air the video as sponsor? Like, what do we do? Do we reshoot the entire thing and pretend that it didn't happen? Like, what do we do here?
What do you think that's sponsored? Brought to you by Target, and then this guy gets like decapitated.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
they
God,
have to
guys!
run it.
Mr. Beast is a 3-time Kids' Choice Awards winner.
Damn.
Oh my God!
Really?
I didn't know there was still a Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah, for favorite male creator.
Do they give away the surfboard still?
I would think so.
Nice.
I thought they stopped doing that when The Weeknd got a Kids' Choice Award for a song about cocaine.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. I can't feel my face when
That's
I'm with you. I
impossible.
want a Kids' Choice Award, and it's just about
Did they do a
doing
Kids Bop with that song? Because that'd be awesome. I miss Kids Bop. You know that every
Isn't
year,
it still around?
every year we see it has to be right.
Oh,
Well,
my
I don't know.
Yes,
It
yes,
has to
my
just
daughter
be-
listens to Kids.
I'm pretty sure they did a Not Like Us version.
But how does it work? Like, is it just it's just like on Spotify?
Yeah,
because there's
like-
no CDs anymore.
Yes, like you can do Spotify, Kids Bop Kids.
So they could just put out songs like every month if they wanted. They could just cover the most popular song like that week.
Oh, there's Pink Pony Club. Like they have all the latest songs.
Why would you
nice.
have to change Pink Pony Club?
Yeah.
To make it kid-friendly.
I mean, just the kids sing all the popular songs.
Oh,
Just
boy.
kidding, Chris.
Not
So-
Kids Bop. There's a knockoff
Not
version
all
called.
hip hop songs. It's like every song you've ever heard.
I didn't
Like
know
Taylor
this.
Swift songs. Like it's not.
There was a. Did you know that there was a knockoff version of Kids Bop called Mini Pop Kids? Well, there is, and the lyrics to "Can't Feel My Face" are as such: "I know she'll always be with me. At least she knows I'm fine, and she'll always get the best of me. So much is yet to come." That doesn't rhyme.
What?
At least we'll know. At least we'll both be beautiful and stay forever young. This I know. He told me, "Don't worry about it." No, everything else is the same.
Wow.
Even though it's all about cocaine. So shout out the Mini Pop Kids album 13.
You know what my favorite part of every Super Bowl Super Bowl Radio Row Week is?
What's that, Billy?
When we run into my guy Vince at Nickelodeon. I love seeing Nickelodeon at all of these events. Like as a kid, I always grew up and I'm like, I want to work at Nickelodeon when I'm an adult. And then I see them like walking around like media night and doing things, and I'm like, I think I still want to work for Nickelodeon, like as an adult. Like I wouldn't mind being like a Nickelodeon like sportscaster, honestly. Like how many more jobs we need to give like Noah Eagle? You know, like it's
Right.
Billy Gill
He's
could do the
starting
Nickelodeon
on.
slime time.
He works
game,
hard.
You know what I mean?
Iron Eagle, you could say that about. No Eagle.
Why are you taking out Noah, man?
Dude, Noah gets every job. Let's be real. Okay, Nickelodeon, Netflix, CBS, like every job. Like Noah gets. Does he not?
Say what you want to say. He gets those jobs because
I don't want to
He
say
works hard,
No,
Chris
I'm not
says.
saying that it's a nepotism thing. I'm just saying like whenever it's like, hey, who do we get? Like, well, we can't afford Ian, so we can get Noah. And I'm
me
sure
an Eagle.
Noah is very pricey as well now. You
Any
know?
Eagle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Chris, are you trying? Because you like fancy yourself as a stand-up comedian, right? Like
Relax.
that's your next career.
It's a
right?
goal I'd like to do someday. I have not done it yet, so
Yeah, what's stopping you other than you right now?
Yep.
that's it.
Is this going to be like a test, like an opening act? Are you going to try some material for this best man speech? Because it's a good time.
Am
to
I
do
going
it.
to work just my stand-up routine?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna
There's
focus
got-
it on my brother and the bride.
So there's nothing in your stand-up routine, which I find it funny that you already have it. Like it's in the.
well, I
it's in
have
the desk
jokes
drawer.
written. I have not gotten up on stage
There's
yet.
nothing that has to do with family. Nothing has to do that you can insert your brother into the conversation or the joke.
No, there's nothing really there. I think just doing this job, I'm not that nervous about doing it. It's more of like what's the tone? How mean do I want to be? How fun? Like I don't want to make this about me. It's about them. So it's really just the balance of how many jokes is too many. Like I've never done it before.
Schefter's kid works for Nickelodeon.
So no advice. No one has any advice for me. No one's
No, I
done
got
it.
nothing for you. Sorry.
I have to do the hard work for my kids to get
Maybe take a trip through the ex-girlfriends. Use that as like a a time marker for each piece of his life as you're
Top
trying to tell
5
his life story?
ex-girlfriends. Yeah, these are bad suggestions.
Don't make this
All right.
about you.
That's what I'm saying.
They always make
Chris,
it about them. You don't want it
yes.
to be about you.
You're not going to do a stand-up comedian routine. You're
I
not
think
going
you
to try
can.
it out there. No, don't.
You
okay?
can't. His brother would like it, though.
I'm going to roast my brother a little bit friendly, a couple jokes, couple
Yes.
zingers.
Isn't your brother known as the funny one?
That's actually one of my lines.
Right.
I'm Chris, the older brother, also the funnier one.
No poop jokes. That's the big one. I went to a wedding where the best man sort of didn't really write a speech and was just going off the cuff, and
I don't like
somehow
notes.
ended up down a path where he was making fart jokes and poop jokes, and that's not going to do well at a wedding.
Try to
so
do
just
it-
make sure to avoid that.
Try to do it
Yes.
off the top of your head, too. Like, I think, and people will disagree with me, I think the staring at your phone the whole time, a bit tacky.
I hate staring at
a
the
little
phone.
tacky.
I would rather you actually just print out something or even
give me a couple
make
notes.
cards than just
No.
your phone.
Funny thing is,
I'd rather nothing.
last night was the rehearsal dinner, and my one of not her maid of honor, she'll speak at the wedding. Another one of her very close friends, and then my dad spoke. And it was funny. She went first, and she had it on a phone, and then my dad went up, and he made the joke of, the young whippersnapper over there looking at a phone. I have, and he pulls out like a scroll.
scroll.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
He's
Man.
just like, I've done this longhand.
I have bad news for you. You're set up for failure. Here,
Oh, I know.
Chris.
My dad's
Like,
speech was great.
Follow your dad.
Well, luckily he
with
went
props.
last night and not at the wedding because if he was going before, yes, he was great. And
How
it was
much room do you
emotional.
leave for sap at the end?
Oh, no, my dad got emotional. It was
Well, of course.
It was really.
he presides over that family.
Guess what? He's
yes.
a writer.
Yes, and he's a writer.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, the best columnist in Florida.
I honestly thought while he was doing it, it might be funny on Saturday for me to just read what my dad wrote.
would
Just
be fun.
start it. With
Well, yeah,
throw in
because
a
there's a
few
lot of
kind
people
of
that
things.
they didn't hear it.
most
that
people
time.
will have not heard it.
Exactly right. You really should just do
That
your
would be
dad's
so
exact speech.
How long do you think it would take before he noticed?
Yeah, that's a good question because if he's drinking a little bit, he might not.
I would
right
have
away.
to start with the joke of she used her phone and now I will use.
Yeah, you got to go second.
He would love that.
You got
Like,
it.
He would be so.
He would be honored, but his
happy,
brother would
Chris.
hate it.
You got to do this.
About 4 minutes in, he'd be like, "This speech is amazing," and then it won't be until after he's done and you tell him that he'll realize that. He'll just think it's the greatest best man speech of all time.
Just every time that the word son is referenced, you just monotone replace it with the word brother. Actually, you can just get
Bro.
Roy to
Yeah.
record the word brother, and then every time it's supposed to say son, you just play out loud from your phone, Roy saying brother.
I mean, so far that's the best advice. It makes it easy on you. You don't have to write anything.
Yep.
And you get a laugh, you get a little inside joke.
Dad is honored.
And probably a little bit of an overall joke because some people will get
It puts to waste all. I have put work into this, and I do have a speech of my own.
If you have a real speech, what I would say that actual real advice would be try to don't just throw in a line at the end about his wife to be. If
no, I have a whole
you've gotten
thing
to know if
about
you have
her
a
and my
real
daughter. Like
see,
she's my
this is
daughter's
great.
favorite person.
Oh,
Like I'm gonna
so
do,
then
I
you're
have a
good,
whole,
dude. You win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Even if you lose on the jokes that you make about your brother and all that stuff, that is going to win because
Praising
the
the bride.
brother-in-law
Yes.
praising the bride and
Yes.
the relationship that the bride has with his daughter. Are you kidding me? You've already won. Chris, you're good.
I have been wondering I have like in my speech, Tati, you look underline. My brother's fiance.
Careful.
Tati.
I just avoid that situation.
No, what do you mean? You
altogether.
have to like.
Incredible.
Yeah, thank you. That's why
Yes,
I'm
no,
I'm
beautiful.
struggling.
Keep it
Ravishing.
appropriate.
Beautiful.
I think I was gonna go amazing. I was gonna go amazing.
Avoid the looks
beautiful,
of the bride.
beautiful.
No, I'm obviously gonna be. It's
Stunning.
Gonna be
Stunning is the one.
breathtaking.
Stunning, yes.
I was trying to find that perfect word that's like not like because Billy's worried about you don't want to seem any kind of weird.
Amazing,
You wanna
incredible,
be-
feel lecherous. Hot.
See,
hot,
Like,
lecherous.
Thank you. Examples
You
of
are a
terrible
hottie.
words.
Yeah, just be
You
Tati.
look
I would.
If I weren't
Yeah.
already married.
Like, hey, Michael, how about us? Huh? Good job, dude.
Tati, did
Fist me.
Did Michael tell you our arrangement with our brides? Don't say that.
But yes, I don't know. So I'm trying to find the perfect word that I think will.
I think stunning right now. is
Stunning's
top of
always the
list,
word.
But if you could ask your dad. He's the writer.
He is the writer.
I did want to
If
wish.
it wasn't Michael, I'd be all over this.
I did want
I
to
dare
wish
you.
somebody a happy birthday that we missed out yesterday because, Greg was here, and he's always a pleasant distraction. But Jess Smetana.
Happy birthday to her. I don't care.
It was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Jess. And the reason I bring her up, because it must have been a decent birthday, at least for Lehman, because Jalen Brunson hit that game-winning three, the series-ending three.
Stu, how scared were you?
Pretty scared. I mean, we were going home for Game 7 if we lost that game, but the Knicks tried to lose that game, tried to give it away, and Brunson bailed them out in the final minutes of that game, final seconds of that game. And I was thinking, the guard that Maverick fans should be upset about getting rid of is Jalen Brunson.
Dude, they had the best backcourt maybe of all time.
Yes.
If they would have just kept them together and let them run your turn, my turn type of stuff.
Yes.
But a couple of things, like everybody, I'm sorry Tony's not here because I would love to have a Cade Cunningham conversation with him now. But there's no question, Jeremy, Cade Cunningham or Jalen Brunson. Like today, it's clearly Jalen Brunson.
It's obviously Jalen Brunson,
it's
and it
gonna
always
be Jalen
was.
Brunson. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you listen to the show the last couple of days, we were singing.
Yeah, big shock. We as a show, something that was predicted here started to look a little bit right, so we started taking victory laps before it was actually right. This show? No way.
I mean, look at Cade's numbers. It's inefficient, whatever. He's a lead guard. It's like I've always said. He's not an insult. He's pretty good. He's just not a lead number one on a championship team. He'll have to have somebody else do
Tyler
it.
Hero.
Like Tyler Hero. Again, all-star level player. Just
Who's
not
better,
a number
Cade or
one.
Tyler?
Cade is better.
Cade
It's
is the
just-
better player
it's just
right
a,
now.
It's just a build thing, man. Tyler, it's so unfortunate. If he was built a little bit more like even Jamal Murray or Devin Booker, dude would be like 30 points a game. Like it's just he's a little thinner.
Yeah,
and it's
physical
just- there's so much-
limitations
there's
for
only
him
so
that
much
are
you can do about that.
the ones that Steph overcame as the most freakish player of all time.
Right.
Like that's the reason why he is the freak that he is because normally when you have those physical limitations, Tyler Hero is like the maximum of what you could be.
Which brings me back to Brunson, who, as a small person, physical limitations,
Exactly
which makes him so ridiculously impressive, so crazy skilled, such a high IQ. Man, I felt terrible for Asar Thompson yesterday.
Got abused, dude.
That dude, okay, first of all, he started the season not playing because of blood clots, okay? Didn't know what the answer was going to be, how long it would take, finally worked his way back. Okay, he can play. Worked his way into the rotation again, got in the starting lineup, great. First playoff game, embarrassed. Like, didn't look good. Next, and then he got asked about what trouble do you have guarding Jalen Brunson? He says none. And then the very next game, Jalen Brunson fouls him out, shows him how many fouls that requires, and then just they show Asar over and over and over again. Now, Pistons won that game. Wasn't that bad.
He was good last night, though.
The game before last. Great game. 22 points all over the place. Yeah, Cade saved him late, but it was Asar who kept him in it. And then last night, more amazing defense for 48 and a half minutes, or 47 and a half minutes, however long that game lasted. And then in the final play, Jalen lost him like he's never defended in his life. Like Asar's all the way over there.
Seriously.
And I replayed that 5 times to see, did he trip? Was it a push-off? Nope. Dude just went flying in that direction. And he takes so much pride in his defense and so much pride for recovering from that game. And that's the only play that's going to matter in that game. The play before stripped him, I believe. This time, lost like a baby deer on ice, and then Jalen hits that game. Oh, my God, that's just going to haunt him for the rest of the summer.
And it wasn't only that play. It was really a few plays down the stretch of the last couple of minutes. I believe he's the one who committed the foul on the and one when it was 112-105. I might be wrong on that. It might have been another player. But he's the guy, right, to go be a stopper of a player specifically like Jalen Brunson, where Thompson actually has the size advantage.
Yeah.
It's rare that one of the Thompson twins gets placed on a player where they actually have the size advantage because their quickness is the thing that helps them both defensively. And now his brother is on that stage tonight and is going to be tasked with a lot of the same things of being the guy to go stop, whether it's Jimmy Butler, whether it's Steph Curry. And he's going to be in that position late in the game, probably a close game, defending another undersized guard. And now he, the other twin, is going to be in that position. I hope for his sake it goes the other direction tonight because, man, if back-to-back nights those two dudes get put in the same exact spot, oh, man.
I have a great stat here about Jalen Brunson. Chris, give me the stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
before you give that stat, Stu, I thought it was also perfect because they were just showing before that play from Jalen Brunson that he won Clutch Player of the Year.
Yes.
There is no more clutch shot in the NBA
No.
than the game-winning shot for a series.
Yep. This stat is courtesy of Taylor, the stolen stat of the day. The only NBA players to have 40-plus points and 5-plus assists in a road closeout win twice in their careers, Jalen Brunson and Michael Jordan.
Wow.
How about that?
Could have been teammates with Luka for a long time.
And now neither of them is there.
That's unbelievable.
What kind of mismanagement?
Somebody mentioned Radio Row earlier, and
Yes.
Stugotz said to me, if you saw Luka Doncic on Radio Row, like behind a table somewhere, or maybe like fixing a cable.
As an engineer.
Right.
Yes.
With his like crack showing as he's would you be surprised?
No.
That's
No.
exactly what one of those folks look like. If somebody knocked on your door and says, hey, I'm here to clean your pipes. This is not a porn movie. I'm here to clean your pipes. And he looked like Luka Doncic. You'd be like, yep, plumber's here, guys. Everybody clear out the bathroom.
And he really reeks of cigarettes.
Yes.
Did you see the video where someone asked him, like, hey, after you finish, your playing career, do you ever see yourself living in Texas again? And he's like, no. And they're like, doesn't have to be Dallas. Like, could you ever see yourself maybe living in Houston? He's like, no.
I loved it there, but not really.
What'd you make of what J.J. Redick had to say? Well, let's play it if we have that sound.
About Luka?
Yeah,
because
about
he said
Luka.
many things that annoyed me.
Well, he didn't say Luka specifically, but we all know he was talking about Luka, and we all know that LeBron told him to say this.
In your mind, what are some of the ways this team needs to get better in order to get back and get another flag?
I think I'll start with the offseason and the work that's required in an offseason to be in championship shape. And, we have a ways to go as a roster. And certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately is we have to get in championship shape.
I like the idea of like somewhere in the locker room they have like levels. There's like play-in shape, first round shape,
Yes.
second, and there's like percentages
Championship
on
level
each,
shape.
like, championship
yes.
level
and
shape.
LeBron's
is like,
always there.
yeah, he's
Yes.
at like
right.
at beyond. He's like at 6 rings shape.
It's like that hydration chart that they
Yes.
keep in college football locker rooms where they're telling you that you're going to die down here, but you're good to go up here. But it's championship
Or in
shape.
Family Guy when it's a cop and he pulls somebody over.
Yeah, the race car.
So Nico Harrison has to be watching that and smiling. Not my problem now, it's your problem. This is now 2 teams. He's 25, 26 years old, and 2 teams have told him, without telling him directly, hey, you're out of shape. You don't care about this thing enough.
Well, it's funny if you're J.J. Redick, right? Like, and you said, Chris, that there was a lot of things that he said that annoyed you. His whole first year of coaching annoyed me. Like everything, his whole approach, his whole personality annoyed me. And it's sort of like he thinks he can do things that others don't, right? And he thinks he can come in right off the bat and talk to players this way because he was a former player or whatever. You think that is what's going to get across to Luka? Oh, you put it together with championships, so now I'm going to work my ass off and run up hills with Steph Curry.
Never
in
heard
the
that one
offseason,
before.
Right? It's like we know that Luka knows that he's not in great shape. So rather than, as he's doing already, is trying through the media, your first try is going to be through the media, man. Like, Luka's not going to want to hear that, and everybody's like,
We're going to pounce on that. It's like the most obvious. And he's a smart guy. Like, he has to know what he's doing. And
He's also a free agent. I mean,
I'm just saying. Just crazy.
JJ could come out and say, I didn't say anybody's name. You are the people who are attaching it to Luka. Come on, man. Like, we all know who he's talking about. And even if he's not just talking about Luka, everybody's going to assume he's just talking about Luka. It was a bad move by him. And this whole playoffs were showing he was a inexperienced coach. The one game where he played everybody in all 5 starters for every minute of the second half, it's just something you don't do. And so, like, the idea, this was wild to me, the idea that more people bet on the Lakers to win a championship than any other team in the playoffs is absolutely insane. Like, I don't know if people are actually paying attention to what's happening.
To clarify a little bit on what we were talking about with free agency there with Lucas Stugotz,
Yes.
what you mean is he's going into the last year of a deal here where there's a player option after that, and he is yet to extend. So
Okay.
really what this is a player being in a position right now where with 1 year left on that deal, if he says, I'm not extending with you and I'm going to eventually opt out of that player option, that's what puts the Lakers in an interesting position with him. That's not something anybody anticipates, but I can see why.
It's the Jimmy spot.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the Jimmy spot.
Is
Coupled
Red-
with LeBron and
Oh,
am I gonna
no,
retire?
totally.
Am I not gonna retire?
Yeah, different thing.
I don't know. I need to think about it.
Has Redick already reached the place where people are like, I don't think I want to play for him? Like, he's cursing
I'm
people
there.
out. You don't want
Are
to play
you?
for him?
I'm not going to play for him. I'm going to take a stand right now and tell you right now, I will never play for JJ Redick.
That's strong.
On
have
record.
Have the players spoken out on this? Because I feel like there's two lanes on this. There's how the media perceives you and how your players perceive you. Like, I don't know that the players dislike his style.
Well, it used to be that whatever LeBron does or says, they're going to echo because it's his team, right? Oh, he did this podcast with JJ Redick. They're obviously, if LeBron shows him respect, the rest of the team will show him respect. I said this yesterday. It's not LeBron's team anymore. It's Luka's team. So how does Luka get along with JJ? Is he going to put up with all that nonsense? Is he going to be okay with the saying, cloaking the you're out of shape and championship shape talk the day after they lose in the first round? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a match made in, La La Land.
But players do want to play for that organization and play in that market. That market means something. It's one of the few markets and teams that mean something in the NBA.
And the organization will always value the players over the coach, which is why I'm saying that. If JJ continues to show he's going to be stubborn or maybe isn't going to grow in his second year, then, they got to move off of something before they, wow, I'm sitting here firing JJ Redick already.
Well, this is a really interesting transition because after last night's game between the Nuggets and the Clippers, as much as I wanted to be excited about Game 7, which I am because that's just going to be what an incredible first-round basketball game, but I started immediately thinking about this offseason. And obviously, I'm in that position because my team is already in the offseason. But I think this offseason has an opportunity to be one of the craziest in terms of superstar movement in a very long time.
Well, let me stop you right there
Yeah.
because the reason for that, I think, and I'm in agreement with you, if you play this out, like, it feels like the championship's up for grabs, right? The best team in the league is OKC, and just everybody's like, wait a second, we can build a team to beat OKC. And so when that happens, then you're just like, hey, let me get a couple of friends, a la 2010, let's go create a super team. We are just coming off of an Olympics where that type of conversation happens, and now keep going because there are a lot of big names.
I was about to say, this sounds as someone who follows the NBA passively, like, give me the names that could be on the move because I have no idea.
Here's what's interesting, right? Because we knew going into the playoffs, KD, right, who's already out. KD, someone who's almost definitely going to be on the move.
Not a
from
superstar
Phoenix.
anymore, though.
I would disagree. He's still top 5 in the league in scoring. Like, he's still he's Kevin Durant, and he's still an efficient top-level scorer in the league.
Reportedly, Phoenix is going to work with him on a move, which
That's
is why
right.
it seems inevitable.
Right. So that's where you start. Then there's the questions of Zion Williamson, a guy who didn't make the playoffs, a franchise that's in a bit of disarray. Could someone like Zion be
Also
available?
not a star.
Okay, but
Well,
a
the
really
guy barely
talented young
plays.
player.
Okay,
Here's another
All right,
one.
fine.
Giannis.
Then we get to Giannis,
All
right?
right.
The Bucks.
He's a star.
He's a superstar.
Number 2, according to Witty.
God, wow, that's one of the worst takes you've ever
Where
had.
is Chris
huh?
Middleton these days, by the
Good
way?
Lord, he's rotting away in
number one.
Washington. Poor guy.
You know where,
Number 2.
Is that the worst take in show history?
We've
there's
got
been
some
worse.
bad ones.
Yeah.
Alex Smith over here?
That was a good take.
but
at the
Alex
time.
Smith
Matthew
is just
Kachuk. Matthew Kachuk.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Chuck was a good
Chucky.
one.
So it's
We have
all
some
witty.
bad ones. Yeah, those are.
And now
a lot
Brad
of bad
Marchand.
witty takes.
Brad
huh?
Marchand.
This
is
Brad Marchand one.
You know where Giannis was photographed or seen lately, videoed lately?
No.
After losing, he was in New York.
We're still doing that?
Yeah.
Classic. Would have been better for the Knicks to lose to the Pistons so they could trade everybody for Giannis. Really bad decision winning that game.
All right, so
Jalen
Giannis-
Brunson screwed you.
Giannis, Zion,
Giannis,
KD.
Zion,
So
KD.
one star,
Now
right.
we have a conversation about LeBron James, right? Brian Windhorst sort of insinuating yesterday that, well, the Lakers aren't really LeBron's team anymore, right? Luka Doncic is the guy they just traded for. They're into this new transition. Izzy's mentioning it here himself that Is this LeBron's Lakers team? Could he decide he wants to be elsewhere? You look at the Celtics, there are reports coming out about the Celtics that they're, not necessarily Jaylen Brown, but that they're going to need to move on contractually from guys like Porzingis and Drew Holiday, who are not superstars, but are supplementary pieces to championship teams. And now, I've just named Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. There are a ton of pieces that could potentially be on the move, and there are several teams that we know can or should be aggressive. If Houston gets knocked out in the first round, they'll be aggressive. They have a ton of picks available. Detroit looks like a team that should try to cash in and get somebody next to Cade Cunningham. The San Antonio Spurs can continue to be aggressive after adding De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, the Miami Heat were embarrassed this season and want to be aggressive. There are all these teams and all these players.
I'll throw in another name that if teams start, or there's like super teams being built or a couple of big moves that it's just like, hey, Joel Embiid will be like, what the hell am I doing here?
Well,
are we going to build a champion here, or am I going to be asked, or I'm going to have to ask to move?
Well, and then when you look at just name recognition, right? If it's Joel Embiid, then there's Paul George, who the Sixers are stuck with, right? There's Bradley Beal, who's a guy that the Suns are stuck with. These are name recognition teams, name recognition players. And by the way, whatever happens in that Game 7 between Denver and Los Angeles, whoever loses is going to be in a really fascinating position this offseason, because either Denver will have continued to fail maybe the greatest offensive center of all time and putting the right pieces around him, or the Clippers, who are a team built on veterans continuing to thrive, will be in a really interesting spot with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden.
You guys are looking way too far ahead. It's time for...
How did you know where the buttons
for a new game? Don't look now.
It's presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly.
I'm sorry for interrupting there, but this is the most impressive thing ever done on the show.
He's blindfolded.
He's driving a car
hit a button. Yes.
with a blindfold on.
That's right. I hit many a button.
And he pointed at Roy.
Don't look now.
Huh.
Rams head coach Sean McVay hopes Matt Stafford plays, quote, a couple more years.
I see what you're doing there. You're not looking.
I'm definitely not.
You
looking.
better not be looking either. Jeremy, are you looking?
I'm in a blindfold.
Only
Nope.
Roy can be looking, because we got to keep this ship
Well, that
afloat.
headline would not really draw my eye because it doesn't really.
That's what you get the game.
But it's brought to you by Smirnoff. So
Patriots quarterback Drake May is, quote, pumped to play behind first-round pick offensive tackle Will Campbell.
What's the wildest thing about this is he has never read better.
I know.
He has never read more accurately.
Well, I'm practicing. I'm doing the speech with my brother, so I'm practicing.
What is Drake May gonna say?
Oh, happy May to Drake May, by the way.
And finally, in a win for sports radio, because remember, Bill's GM, Brandon Beane, went on a radio show, got super... No, Billy Beane is the other GM. This is Brandon Beane.
Don't question blindfolded Chris.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
what
what is sharper than blindfolded Chris.
He got super defensive on a radio show about, hey, we don't need receivers. Well, you guys are idiots saying we need receivers. A day later, they signed wide receiver Elijah Moore to a one-year deal.
Lying season.
That is a win for sports radio. Don't look, though.
They needed Elijah Moore receivers.
Wow.
I mean, that is crazy. Like, if you're that GM,
I knew that was coming.
If you're that GM, you can't sign a receiver that next day after you went on a radio show and went after radio hosts for saying you need receivers. Well, I mean, like, you're just basically saying, okay, hey, I know I went on this radio show, but let's get Elijah Moore in here.
You could say he received the criticism.
I mean.
Sports. With sports writer Kate Fagan.
Dan, where to start here? I mean, I will surprise some people by saying that I went into the game rooting for LSU. Maybe Moki on the side, but falling in love with the joy with which this LSU team played. I mean, it was just unbridled enthusiasm that they were caught in this moment. Even Carson 21 points in the first half, banking in that 3 at the end. I was texting Jess throughout the game. I was actually kind of teary-eyed at the way that they were just living inside that moment. You don't see that often. There's a lot of other places we can go, though, about like why I was rooting for LSU and
but teary-eyed.
Seriously, because you just like the more we do off the looking glass, the more I pay attention to the history of the game. There has been this disconnect, and between like we tell the story on off the looking glass about Cheryl Miller playing for Pat Summitt in 1984, and Pat Summitt really struggling with Cheryl Miller in the opening days of that relationship because Cheryl Miller played with the similar unbridled enthusiasm, doing cartwheels after beating Pat Summitt's Tennessee team when she was playing for Southern California, and Pat Summitt taking
After a blank space on the calendar, Formula One is back in Azerbaijan despite its reputation for tight corners and narrow roads. F1 is putting a sprint race in Baku. On Saturday, Charles Leclerc is fearless in pole position as the sprint begins. But at the start, London boy George Russell delivers some karma to Max Verstappen, making him a move to push him wide. Max is red, but George says, don't blame me. Number 22, Yuki Tsunoda, clips the wall and loses a tire after just 2 laps. At the restart, Sergio Perez has a lead with 5 laps left. It's time to go. Checo wins the sprint race, but Max and George have bad blood when the race ends. You guys see what I'm doing yet? Will there be vigilante shit on Sunday?
This is amazing.
You need to calm down because it's lights out and away we go in Baku. Sparks fly, and Verstappen is driving like he's in a getaway car and pulls out into the lead. Long story short, Nick DeVries has a glitch and a safety car ensues. Perez is in the lead after a slew of pit stops, but he's not out of the woods yet. The one driver, Max Verstappen, has speed, but that's when Sergio Perez says, bye-bye, baby. As the race ends, Esteban Ocon goes into the pit, but the mastermind race organizers have let press onto the treacherous pit lane. This is why we can't have nice things. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton finishes 6th. The last great American dynasty, Haas, finishes out of the points, but today was a fairy tale for Sergio Perez. Verstappen finishes in 2nd, which is better than revenge. 1-2 for Red Bull is nothing new. They don't have champagne problems on the podium, but the anti-hero Max Verstappen is only ahead in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift rumors are swirling. Long live Formula One. Max Verstappen has won the Drivers' Championship, but we still have 4 races to go. In Austin, Daniel Ricciardo rides a horse named Horsey McHorseface into the paddock. Zach Brown accuses Christian Horner of cheating, and Fort Lauderdale's own Logan Sargent will join Williams in 2023. During quali, Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap while his teammate Charles Leclerc takes a grid penalty. Martin Brundle gets snubbed by Brad Pitt. Tim Apple doesn't know how to wave a flag. 440,000 people are at the Circuit of the Americas. It's lights out and away we go. On turn 1, Max Verstappen gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz tries to recover, but gets hit by George Russell. The Spaniard is out of the race before the 1 lap is even over, and Russell takes a 5-second penalty. Valtteri Bottas' race ends early, and a safety car helps out Charles Leclerc for once. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll get in a massive collision, and debris is everywhere. Lewis Hamilton, on hard tires, leads the race with 10 laps to go, but the Flying Dutchman cannot be beat this year. It's Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel battles to the finish in his final USGP. Baby Lando finishes 6th, and Yuki gets a point.
It's going to be a long, hot summer. The Department of Justice, in order to focus on their priorities of assisting law enforcement, combating violent crime, protecting children, fighting the opioid epidemic, and supporting victims of violence and sexual assault, just abruptly cut over $800 million in grants to 365 nonprofits that assist law enforcement, combat violent crime, protect children, fight the opioid epidemic, and support victims of violence and sexual assault. We talk with the executive director of one of those defunded organizations that helps save children on the streets of Miami. All about that hot mess. Plus, the president of the Miami-Dade Democratic Hispanic Caucus, if he doesn't get deported first, on this week's Because Miami.
Would Pat Riley know who you are?
You know, I actually don't know. I would think so because he knows he knows so much about the organization and he doesn't travel all the time. But at home games, he's not watching the broadcast necessarily, although he has the monitor in front of him. But it's not like we've spoken.
But you've been surprised by people knowing who you are in the past. You told me a story that you were on
Constantly.
a train. You were surprised by someone knowing who you were.
Yeah, I'm surprised even when people in the organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would.
Coming up today on Mystery Crate, we talk about none of that.
We talked about divorce. If we all lived together.
No, we talked about if we would all get a house.
Divorce
we all
house.
get a house
Yeah.
together. If we all ended up divorced or
Divorce house. Yeah.
Short
divorce
segment.
house.
That should have been longer.
Horrible idea.
Why would it a horrible idea?
Great idea.
Not a good idea.
We talked about you being one of the first people on the scene if somebody was acting crazy on an airplane.
That's true. Or last,
No,
depending
the
on
last.
One of the
yeah,
first
last.
they are.
scenes.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
the first, so we can make it,
Yeah.
even.
And our trip to Nashville.
Yeah. The Molina musical.
And Jeff.
John.
The tourism board guy.
Yeah.
Tourism board
Oh,
guy.
and the scandalous picture on the Cash App.
That's
I'm
huge.
gonna
I have
leave
nothing
that
to
for
do with
you
that.
guys.
I got
have
nothing to do with that
leave
one.
that one
That's
for
on
you
me.
guys.
That's a
you
you
guys.
Scandalous
thing.
picture
Nothing
on the
to do with
Cash
that.
App.
Yep.
How do I explain it to my
I
wife?
hope
don't
Jenny's
know.
not watching.
Mystery crate.
The Battle of Florida is over, and the Panthers are victorious in 5 games against the Tampa Bay Lightning as they gear up for round 2. We talked to Tara Salone about the Stanley Cup playoffs coming up today on Hockey Show.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
So Stu just gave me some information that he was talking to you, Chris Cody, and he was asking you if you could get Derby picks, Kentucky Derby picks from any person, and he gave you 3 options. It was the Bear.
No, I gave him
Right?
3 options on guest. I gave him Chris Felica, the Bear, to make Derby picks because we have no idea what we're doing.
Okay.
I gave him Chris Sims because he loves to give Billy a hard time. And then I gave him a 3rd option of Steve Goldstein, the voice of the Florida Panthers.
You know what I picked.
And Chris Cody quickly fired back at me, Steve Goldstein, please.
All right. Well, let's bring on Steve Goldstein.
Into
the
my
voice
veins. Give me this Panther talk into my veins right now.
of the Florida Panthers. As much as I want to talk to him about the pickup game that we had several years ago with Joe Rose and Ira Winderman and Eric Reed, where Eric Reed broke his shoulder, and I got the nickname Fadeaway from Joe Rose, which I'm so proud of. I don't want to talk. There's no time for that, Goldie. We got to talk about how much better the Panthers are than the Lightning. Why is it the Panthers' turn to just be dominant right now?
Izzy, forget about the hockey. I want to talk all about
Please.
that pickup
Assess
game.
my game.
So do I.
Okay. I got Sandman across the board tomorrow in the Derby. And the funniest thing is I was over in Tampa. Panthers took him out in 5. I saw Nikita Kucherov, and he asks me, do you know who Jeremy Taché is?
What?
Now, I cannot imagine that that's true.
Everybody knows Jeremy Taché. So those are the important things. We can get to the hockey in a second. No,
Hey, Goldie, love you too.
honestly, yeah, of course. It's amazing is what's going on with the Panthers. We are really in, a golden age. And in South Florida, if you look back at the early 70s Dolphins, the big 3 for the Heat, that stretch that they had, that's really the only comparable. The Hurricanes, late 80s, early 90s with all those championships. This Panther run that started a few years ago, and still the window is wide open for the next few years, including the next few weeks. They're just a machine. They could beat you however you want. You want to open it up and score goals, they can do that. You want to grind it out 1-0 and have a tight game right to the end. They do not change the way they play. They know their identity, and they got a lot of guys that buy in. Basically, everybody buys in, and they're even willing to sacrifice their own game to get wins. And obviously, we all know that's what it takes to win in sports.
Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning led the league in scoring. They were top 5 in penalty kill and power play. But it's like everybody forgot that once the Panthers got to full health, aside from Aaron Ekblad, who was suspended, that the Panthers, fully healthy, are actually going to take care of the Lightning in the first round, considering what the Panthers were a couple of years ago when they were just a transition team and now they're a 4-checking team. We've seen that style of play that the Lightning have actually does not work in the playoffs. So explain to me why all the media decided to go with the Lightning to win this series.
Well, Roy, you're at Amerant Bank Arena all the time, so you watched the Panthers play the last couple of months. Now, you knew Matthew Tkachuk was out. Marchand was out for those 3 weeks in March. Then he just started coming back, getting his game going. Ekblad was out of the lineup. You don't take all those guys out of the lineup and have you be exactly the same. Then Bennett missed a few games. Kulikov missed a few games. So the Panthers were kind of, maybe not intentionally, but they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. And that wasn't the team we knew we were going to see when the lights went on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They get to game 1 against Tampa Bay. Matthew Tkachuk had never played a game with Seth Jones and Brad Marchand, like ever. So it was just a different team. And you had Paul Maurice kind of spreading out that ice time because you can't do what they've done 209 games the last couple of years, best 4-checking team in the league, intense physical hockey. You physically cannot do that for 82 games and have enough left in the tank for a couple of months. And I just think, as you mentioned, the media, a lot of people just bought into it and said, well, the Panthers aren't quite that good, but they didn't look underlying about the reasons the last 6 weeks they weren't quite playing at their optimal level. And, obviously everybody's swinging a miss on picking Tampa Bay. And it's amazing the series wasn't even close.
I'm looking at you, Bob, with shoes and Lightning in 7.
Goldie, can you make the argument that this Panther team is better than last year's Panther team that won the Stanley Cup?
I've been wrestling with that, Stu. Yeah, you can. It's amazing because you win a championship. How can you be better?
Right.
Until you actually win the championship again.
Yeah.
But when you look at Brad Marchand on a third line, this guy's a future Hall of Famer. Those two young Finns, they're all of a sudden scoring goals like Sam Reinhart is because of Brad Marchand. And then you look at the defense where you took Ekblad out of the lineup and you really never missed a beat. You really can make the case that overall they're a better team. Plus, you have another year of experience. So if they get to a game 7, which, by the way, through the Eastern Conference playoffs the last 2 years, they never do. They beat everybody in 5 or 6. But if it does come down to it, let's say against Toronto, and there's a game 7 coming up in 2 weeks, they know what it takes to win a game 7 because they've already been there and done that. So on a lot of levels, yes, you can make that case that they're better than they were a year ago.
All right, let's look forward here. Toronto Maple Leafs, Panthers. What scares you? I'm going to make this pretty general. What scares you about this Toronto team?
Cody, what scares me about Toronto is eating the shawarma in the street off one of those carts,
dangerous.
By Union Station. I'm not sure I'm going to go there. As far as the hockey, look, they've gotten a more tighter defensive system with Craig Berube. It's very ironic. Anthony Stolarz, who was the Panthers' backup last year, will be the goaltender against Bobrovsky. But overall, to me, 7-game series, all things being equal, I don't think Toronto can grind it out 4 times to beat the Panthers. So, of course, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, the terrific offense that they had, but the Panthers have proven time and time again the last 2 years, they can shut down the offense. As Roy said, Tampa Bay tries this run and gun. It doesn't work in the playoffs, and it doesn't work against the Florida Panthers defense. So you never want to get too cocky, but not a huge, scary team to me, but they have adjusted a little bit. You saw the game last night. They're trying to play more like the Panthers where, hey, 2-1 in the third period, we're comfortable. But the area I look at, the Panthers are the best forechecking team in the NHL. And even against the Ottawa Senators, Toronto is in the bottom third of playoff teams defensively at giving up forecheck chances. So I think the Panthers can outlast them. And I think it's great they're starting on the road because if they go in there and they get one of the first 2 games, I think they're in good shape.
Goldie, Jeremy's giving me a look, and it's just saying, too cocky, man.
I'm getting worried.
I don't know. I think
I'm getting worried. Everybody's so confident. Everybody in this room is confident. Everybody in that room is confident.
They've earned the right to be cocky.
Of course.
Goldie just said he's happy that they're starting
not
on the road.
Not too scary.
No, I'm going to jump in here. I'm with Goldie. I love being on the road the first 2 games. You just got to get one of them, and you're coming home to home ice.
That does feel good. I'm not saying that they don't deserve it, by the way. The Florida Panthers, they're the best team in hockey. They were the best team in hockey last year. They've only gotten better. We saw through last year's run, the difference was there was this era, because it hasn't happened yet, there's still a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of fear. And now I feel like all the way around every conversation I see, everybody is just so confident.
They've done it.
And it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. They haven't been past the second round in 20 years. What are we talking about here?
Dangerous, Goldie. All this level of
parade of bass bags.
Maybe Tashay's right. Let's go Leafs in 7. Okay, that'll be the prediction.
Thank you, Goldie.
Make everybody feel better. Then when the Cats go in there and kick them in the teeth, we can all rip Tashay.
Thank you very
everyone
much.
knows who he is anyway.
I'm the punching bag here anyway. We're good. I'll be the punching bag on that too.
Goldie, we had actually he's going to be a punching bag when he gets back, but Mike Ryan took a while to really get in on this Brad Marchand pickup, saying it wasn't very good. Tell us what he's been doing lately.
Oh, he's still waiting for Marchand to have a bad spot, a bad moment, believe me.
What has he brought to the team lately?
First of all, they lost some chatty guys, some guys like Cousins and Lomberg that brought a little of that juice to the table. So maybe it was a little more of a serious team. He brings all of that and more. He does not shut up. It's great, and it's always positive. So when you get the positive guy on the bench, and he's going to the Hall of Fame, it's a great situation. The other thing is he's slotted in with those two young Finns. It might be the best third line since the 1970s Montreal Canadiens that won the four in a row.
I don't even know who was on that Canadiens team, but that sounds impressive.
I mean, geez.
You know, Izzy, just look up Google Yvon Cornwallis and get back to me, okay, brother? Just, look that up. So you look at the matchup that they're on a third line. So, like in the Tampa series, right? You could let Barkov and Ryan Hardenberg, they take care of Point, Kucherov, Gensel. They kind of cancel each other out. Then the Bennett line, in this series, go up against Tavares. They'll probably cancel each other out. Then you go to that third line, and you got Brad Marchand there. He's the most talented guy of anybody. And he also makes those two young Finns, Lundell and Losterinen, think offensively a little bit more, like get to the net and I'll get you the puck. So Marchand has been amazing. I didn't know his hands were quite that good, and I didn't know he was quite as fast as he is right now. I think that layoff really helped him at his age in the mid-30s. So in every way, the guy has been fantastic. And you know what I love about Tkachuk and Bennett and Marchand and these guys, that the reputation of being, the physicality, and after these guys have cut all of that out. They're just playing hockey, and the other team maybe has that in their mind that, hey, these guys might bring some of that to the table, and they're really not. So Marchand is fit in. So Bill Zito does, and that staff does an amazing job. Here's what we need. Here's the piece we need. Let's go out and fill that hole, and Marchand's been a big part of it.
But emotionally, what do you say to Panther fans? Because these Panther group chats are filled with a couple of these kind of guys. The Panther fans that care so much about the Panthers that they're like, I hate the Bruins. I've always hated Marchand. I will never
go to hell.
While Tkachuk and Maurice and guys on the actual team have accepted him, these emotional Panther fans that are way too prideful to root for Marchand.
Why, Cody, are you worried he's going to lick you or something? Is that your...
I'm not one of them. This is not me.
That was his move.
I love Marchand.
I know. I just wanted to bring up Marchand licking you. That's all. Really didn't matter in the context. Stugotz loves that, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Thank you, Cody.
It's the same thing. Go back, to the Yankees, right? They win World Series with Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens, with a bunch of Mets and Red Sox. Once the guy gets to your team, and by the way, he is a great guy. Even just walking by him, and what I do, always says hi, terrific guy, funny as heck. That's the way it is in sports.
So bleep off to those Panther fans. Bleep off is what we're saying.
You can say that, and maybe I won't, but I don't disagree with you. Yeah, just, suck it up and try to get another ring.
Has he licked you?
He is not yet, and I'm very disappointed, Stu. I mean, it's there's no love there.
So you said the internet, it was the Calgary Flames, the 3M line. Is that the internet says it was Goudreau, Gord, and Coleman? Is that right?
There you go. Okay, so that's when Tampa was winning those cups. Yes, they had Barclay Goudreau, Blake Coleman on the wings, Yanni Gord in the middle. They were great. No one could match up with them. I think these guys are more. Anton Lundell has got a ton of talent. So similar. And by the way, the Lightning won 2 cups with back-to-back with that line. So there's the similarity, I guess you could say. But make no mistake, Brad Marchand is a more talented player than all of those guys.
You talk about how deep the Florida Panthers are. Mackie Samoskevich only played 36 minutes in that series against Tampa, and Jesper Boquist played 40 minutes. I mean, are these guys going to see any time during this series versus Toronto?
Roy, I think a lot of these players, the depth players, and we even saw this last year with Opozo and Lomberg and Cousins, I think a lot of them are interchangeable. As long as they're healthy, and you've got that top 9, and I keep Evan Rodriguez in there, who, by the way, with all the stars, he's the one that led the Panthers in scoring in the Stanley Cup final against the Edmonton Oilers. People kind of forget that. So you look at that top 9 that they have, it's loaded. We all know what happens in the playoffs. We've already seen it. You get injuries, you get suspensions. You need 15, 16 forwards. So the fact that they have that, to me, is great. I'm sure at some point Samoskevich gets back in. The thing with Mackie, as a young player, and Roy, you're at the games, he's got that speed, he's got that offensive ability. He's not really a 4th-line guy. So if you're going to play him, I think you need to play him up in the lineup. And Rodriguez has been so good right now with Bennett and Tkachuk, and Marchand's on that line with Lundell, that It's a great thing to have. But I would think if they go on this run and they go far in the playoffs again, yeah, at some point, a Boquist could pop up a nice time. Aki Samoskevich gets back in there. But to your point, you got guys that scored double digits in goals during the regular season. And you need that depth to get all the way through. And we've realized that over the years. So right now, for those guys, it is what it is in the lineup.
And talk about how big the acquisition of Seth Jones has been, especially considering that Aaron Ekblad has been suspended twice now.
Twice, that's right. And he has one more game. He'll sit out game 1 in Toronto, Ekblad. Seth Jones is another reason why Bill Zito and that Panther staff, they do it as well as anybody in all of sports. They see a guy that they know very well, because remember, Zito was in Columbus when Seth Jones was there. One of the Panthers front office guys is Paul Fenton. He was in Nashville when they drafted Seth Jones. They've got a huge book on this guy. He's in a bad situation in Toronto. In Chicago, he's on a bad team. Just call it what it is. If he comes here, here's where we slot him in. Here's the way we play defense. So big, long reach, rangy defenseman that can skate is exactly what fits in Paul Maurice's system. Let's go get him. Because despite what he's doing over there, that's not who he is. You can go to Forsling, you can go to Mikkola, you can go to Jones, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Bennett, on and on the list goes. They recognize these guys, they bring them in, and Jones has been just fantastic. And to me, they got him for 5 more years at $7 million a year. It's a bargain.
Goldie, know you have to run. We appreciate the time. Quickly here on the way out, your Mount Rushmore of people who have covered the Florida Panthers.
Ooh. Wait, it's putting himself on it?
Goodness.
Well,
that is, I got to think about this.
Yeah.
Mike Russo.
Wow.
Okay. And current George Richards is still around. I'll throw him in there.
He is still around, confirmed. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and you're not talking broadcasters. You're talking
just
regular
anyone who
media?
has covered the Panthers.
Anyone,
yes.
anyone.
There's someone. Yeah, listen, I don't want to give it away.
Dave Dwork.
Oh, wow. That's the guy. Yep, that's the guy.
Doing twerk.
Then there's some dude I see eating the chicken fingers and the free food in the press box. I think his name is Roy. He might be part of a
Sorry, that's Wah.
Wow.
It's that guy. It's that guy.
Wah Bellamy.
Congratulations.
Wah Bellamy.
Thank you, Goldie.
I appreciate you.
All right, boys. See you.
Thank you, Goldie.
Wow, what an honor.
See you guys.
I love that, man.
What an honor, Roy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Roy, you made the Mount Rushmore.
Yes,
You
I'm
and
very
Dwork.
proud. I'm very proud. Me and Dwork, I'm very happy about that. The hockey show has made it.
Dwork first, though.
Hockey show coming up later.
Greg's going to be outraged. Cody.
Speaking of Cody, he owns a horse. You have a top 5 list of, is it people in sports or athletes who connote horses?
So the Kentucky Derby is this weekend.
That always comes around and surprises me. Like that and the Tour de France. You just, wow, look, it's starting. You have no idea.
The Tour de France doesn't really surprise me. I just don't care about it.
No, that's true.
You know? And I'm not certain I care about the Derby as well.
Nope.
But I do have a top 5 list of athletes who connote horse racing.
I got news for you with races of all kinds. It needs to be on one day. If your race takes 3 weeks, I don't care about it.
What about the Olympics?
Right.
What race takes 3 weeks in the Olympics?
I mean, it's spread out through.
No, but what Chris is saying is the Indy 500, they do 500 laps in a day. He doesn't need stages with his race. You know?
France, but yeah.
Well, whatever it is.
Tour de
lap
France.
Is a mile? I mean, no.
Wow, I thought it was 500. Okay.
I thought it was 500 laps. Yeah.
So anything with wheels is just the 500 lap race.
You don't want stages with your race.
It's just like, if I'm biking this race and I win it, I've only won it for today. Right. So it's just annoying.
You want a stage. The first 10th of the NBA season.
That's what it is. It's a bike race season. It's just a bunch of stages.
Yeah.
Do you have OLIs?
What about the Masters? That's like a 4-day affair.
It's an event, not a race.
Yeah, it's an event.
Much different.
Okay.
I wish it were 6 rounds, to be honest with you. I want more Masters.
Starting on Tuesday?
Yes. I have 6 OLIs.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the tennis. I don't like the tennis ones that it's like a month. That it's like the Australian Open, and it's like this
it's
is
the
still
only
going
reason why
on.
I know what Fortnite is because of tennis.
I think that the Miami Open, it felt like 3 weekends in a row. People were like, I'm going to the Miami Open. It's like, it's still going on?
Yeah, but
What's
these are
taking so long?
These are tournaments, different than a
Who
race.
cares? No one remembers who wins the Miami Open. You can get that done in 2 days.
You're right. You're right.
How many people, to Billy's point, how many people start a tennis tournament? Like 64? Is it something like that?
I think it's just open invite. Whoever wants to participate,
Like Greg Cody
start. Yeah, and then they just slowly wean off people.
So it's like challengers.
Sure.
Just open invite. Anybody want to
Show
play
up to
tennis?
Paris and play in the French
Have a racket.
Open?
Yeah,
Oh, you're pretty good. You're the third.
Wimbledon. Just wear white and you're good. You can play.
Oh, that's true.
Anyway, I was saying I have 6 OLI.
All right, let's go.
You got to hit him then.
Kenny Mayne. Olindo Mare. Quentin Post. Orlando Pace. Connor Stallions. Paul Furlong.
Who's that?
Soccer player. Okay. I think. Number 5, Nene Hilario.
That name's always going to make me laugh.
It's made several lists, yes.
Especially when you know he dropped the Hilario.
Yes.
And it's still a great name. Either one on its own is a great name. If you would have dropped the Nene, Hilario would have been an amazing name.
Number 4, Colt McCoy. Number 3, Matt Trainer. Number 2, Michael Gallup.
Great.
Number 1, Trot Nixon.
Had to be.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I like the Lindo Mare. That was really good.
Nixon
OLI.
Friday.
Kenny Mayne as an OLI was great. When you think of Trot Nixon, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Red Sox.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris?
I think of wearing like your
The
your
pants, the
pants
socks,
high, like
yeah.
showing the socks,
Yeah.
or a guy that doesn't look like he should be doing it. He didn't give off like he wears his socks high.
He
Right.
gives off, Billy, tell me if I'm wrong here, major asshole. That's what I think of when I think of Trot Nixon.
Like JJ Redick?
No, that would be my first.
His hat was always really, really dirty. That's one thing I remember about Trot Nixon.
Did you
the
have
hat.
a bad experience with Trot Nixon?
No,
or
it
just
feels
the
like every
vibe
time
you're getting?
people talked about him, it was like he was a jerk to them. And he's just got a little bit of a, hey, that guy could be mean type of face.
Type of
The
face.
funny thing is, I kind of see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Trot. He's probably a very nice
According
man.
to Google's AI overview, yes, Trot Nixon is generally considered a nice person and a good teammate. But I'm going to go ahead and look. Oh, AI overview is wrong about everything.
Wow.
We've lost our ability to find information.
Ask
But I'll
about,
find out more.
Ask about Dan Le Batard. What does it say about Dan Le Batard?
Okay, I'll Google, is Dan Le Batard nice? Because that's what I Googled for
you work
Trot
with
Nixon.
him.
Is Dan Le Batard
No, I know
nice?
he is. I want to see what AI
Dan Le
thinks.
Batard is known
Check
for
it.
his often contrarian and controversial opinions, earning his nickname the hateable Dan Le Batard.
Wow, so not nice.
What? While he is popular, while he is a popular figure in sports media,
hate him.
particularly with the show The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, his outspoken nature and unconventional style may not be universally perceived as nice.
There it is.
Google
Wow.
AI says
This
Trot
is
Nixon
fun.
is nice, but Dan Le Batard is
What an
not.
asshole.
This is fun. Do Greg Cody now.
I was going to say, do
All right, you
Jeremy
got
it.
Taché.
The nicest.
Oh, all right.
You'd be so
Hold on.
sad
I'll end
if
with
it said that
myself.
you were
I'll
a
go Greg
jerk.
Cody first. Is Greg Cody nice?
AI's not going to know who Jeremy
Greg
is.
Cody's niceness seems to be a point of discussion, with reviews highlighting his humor and star status, while some also express frustration with his co-host Chris's behavior. Some listeners
That does
appreciate.
not
I
say
swear
that.
to God, it says it. Some listeners appreciate the
No
show's
way.
dynamic. And find Greg hilarious, while others find Chris's constant complaints or excessive talking to be detrimental to the show's overall enjoyment.
Wow.
Overall, Greg seems to be well regarded for his comedic talent, but his show's dynamic, particularly the role of his co-host, is subject to mixed
That's
opinions.
such a win for you because it doesn't even mention the Dan Le Batard show. It's just the Greg Cody show.
Is
though.
Greg Cody nice? Gets Chris ripped by Google AI.
I did not see that coming.
Well, you
I was like,
deserve
let's
it.
do Greg Cody.
Be nicer to your dad, man.
At least I should get paid like a co-host.
Is Stugotz nice?
Okay.
Actually, I have a new question for Jeremy. You should ask AI, do you know who I am?
Ask ChatGPT that.
Do that next.
Okay,
wanna
I'll
see
do that
if-
next. Hold on.
I
Is
want to see
Stugotz
if I'm
nice?
nice. Yeah.
John Stugotz Wiener, known for his character on the Dan Le Batard Show, presents a persona that is, quote, not typically considered nice in the traditional sense. He's known for his loud, opinionated, and sometimes exaggerated commentary on sports. While some viewers enjoy his comedic take on sports, his clown prince persona, others find his demeanor to be annoying or even offensive.
In the traditional sense.
Yeah, fuck you, AI.
You should do a show with AI. Like a show that's just reacting to AI talking about things.
The answer.
All right, now I got to know if I'm nice.
Yeah,
I'm going to Izzy next. And mind you, I'm just Googling this.
I think you got to go my government name. I don't think you can go Izzy.
Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. This thing is smart. It will be like, oh, Izzy, you mean Israel Gutierrez, former.
That's true.
All right, what do we
Go
got?
former there, huh?
AI overview gives me nothing on Izzy. Wow. It just goes immediately to his Instagram page.
Is that
that's
worse than the
cold.
Chris one?
Oh,
Or
no.
no, that
So
mine's
it just
the
gives you
worst.
visual evidence that I'm nice.
I'd rather be non-existent
Nice with it.
than the way they think of me. I don't like that.
Wow.
I'm gonna start being nicer.
Thanks, AI.
Let's look up Roy.
Full government name.
Wah Bellamy.
Who else can we look up? I'm fascinated.
My
by
dad,
it.
actually.
Both Chris and Roy do not come up either. I'm looking for myself.
I
Let's
came
find
up, though.
out. No,
That's bull
no,
crap.
just my Twitter
Well,
page.
how about Billy?
Let's find out Billy Gill. This is the last
You
one.
came
try.
up in the AI nepotism page because you came
Relax. I
Nope,
work hard.
no Billy either.
Really? Mike?
None of us are famous enough. All right,
Mike?
make round. Well,
Not in the traditional sense, but you're some
Let's
version
see.
of nice, Stugotz.
He is. You're nice.
I am nice.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't come up either.
I'm very nice.
Yeah, we know the answer to that one.
Man, I should be.
Mike's going to be pissed.
I can't believe AI knew
Yeah.
me through my dad, but not on its own.
This is like a real revelation for you.
I'm offended on both sides now. I'm offended that I was in it for my dad, and now I'm offended that I'm not in it on my
If
own.
actual humans tell you you're mean to your dad, you're like, get off me. I'm not that mean to my dad. But a robot tells you you're mean to your dad. It's like, wow, I got to think about
The
this.
funny thing is I often get from Yeti and my dad, like, oh, there were some comments about you being. I'm like, that's one. Apparently, there's a lot of these comments.
Enough that Google AI knows about it.
Jeez. I'm just trying to be funny with my dad. I'm sorry. I love him.
Right.
Find a funny way of showing that.
Yeah, but it comes across as mean.
That's fair. I mean, he does do things that
You
are.
walk a fine line when you're trying to be funny all the time.
Right.
Occasionally, it comes across as mean. you know?
No, that's fair.
Especially when your dad's not in a good mood.
Yeah.
Right.
As the 26th best guest in show history, I like to say I like the dynamic.
Thank
I
you.
think he handles it very well, and he knows that you're not being serious.
Right. That's what I mean. We have a great relationship off air. So that's why I don't often change my ways, because I know him and I are good. But the audience definitely doesn't like it.
Yes, numerous accounts indicate that Steve Goldstein was known for his humor, kindness, generosity, and intelligence.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're talking about the wrong Steve Goldstein.
Oh,
I'm going to find out soon.
What?
Wow. Wow.
This is a dead professor.
Do Amin Hassan.
I'd be disappointed if Amin was on there and I was not. We do a show together. for
Feelings are
crying
getting
out loud.
hurt. Here we go.
Amin is not there, but the first autofill on Google was, is Amin Hassan married?
He'll never tell us anything. I would have thought he got mad at Dan the other day when he referred to one of his children as a specific gender, and he hates that.
What happened to Amin Hassan's face is there?
That's just how he looks. Stu, you had an interesting thought that I feel like maybe we share some brain wavelengths here.
Okay. Well, that's
Because
scary for you.
Not as scary as that sound from Roy was. Because
Well, we're trying to find more people from our universe here.
Mina Kimes generally appears to be perceived as both positive and an approachable person, both online and in person, based on her interactions and public persona.
Pablo.
On it.
When you're done with Pablo, David Sampson, please.
Oh,
we know the answer.
I want to hear the answer out loud.
You know the answer to all these things. You know the people.
It's difficult to definitively say whether Pablo Torre is nice in a general sense,
No,
as
it's
that is a subjective term. It seems like Google AI took on his condescension.
Stugotz, we were joking before the show. Who were we talking about, Stugotz, where we were talking about the land of no expectations? I want to create like a fictional place where we put all the athletes in sports that we just like, they can be average.
It was the Marlins pitcher. I can't remember.
Oh, Sandy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we're accusing Sandy, Jeremy. See if you follow us here, because he has an 8 ERA to start the season. We're thinking that he actually likes being in Miami.
Can we be clear? You're thinking this.
No, I'm thinking
I didn't
this.
say anything.
I'm throwing this
Right.
out there as a theory.
Okay.
That Sandy actually enjoys being in South Florida, and Stugotz said maybe because he's cool getting paid well with no expectations.
Yes.
Maybe just likes living here. So he is tanking his stats this early on here just to avoid getting traded somewhere.
If he wasn't coming off of Tommy John surgery, I would be all in with you on this. I would love that. In the contract situation he's in, just tank a few starts here and there so people get out on you for the trade deadline. But with enough time that he has left on the contract, I got to think he's just – Sandy's a really competitive maniac, and I just have to think that can't
So
be true,
it's-
but I love where your head's at.
Okay, but it's people so I know what the game is.
I'm picturing a beach. It's like a resort, and it's like this is
the land of no expectations.
So Sandy's there on the beach just with
but
his
the
feet up.
players
Sandy
themselves
Beach.
have
Hey.
no expectations. They want to be there.
There's no
right?
pressure
Not the
to win. It's not the
viewers.
Yankees. It's not the Lakers. It's just you can do your thing. You can be good. You can be bad, and there's going to be no pressure from the media.
Kyle
So
Kuzma.
there's all this pressure on Luka Doncic, right? To win an NBA championship, make it to the finals. He's done it once, but to win a title, right?
Yeah.
But there is no pressure on certain NBA guys.
Bradley Beal.
Zero
Bradley
pressure.
Beal was a
is
good one.
I mean, a mayor of this town not only doesn't want the expectations, but has a no trade clause. So it's just like I control all.
He
this.
can't be the mayor. He might have a suite in the hotel, but I don't know if he's the mayor.
See, I put mayor because it's not like the highest thing, right? I'd be president or
That's
king
true.
of this. So mayor is just
Jordan
like,
Poole.
Wow.
Sean Casey.
The mayor.
So Donovan Mitchell is a guy that should have expectations, but he lives in the land of no expectations.
See, even with them being the 1 seed, I still think they don't have expectations.
Right.
That's
Wow,
crazy to say.
that's kind of the perfect place to be, right? Which is you're
Yes.
actually on a great team that can
Yes.
do
But I guess
something, but
where
no
I'm-
one expects
where
it.
So no one's sitting here saying Donovan Mitchell needs to win an NBA championship.
Okay, so
why?
it's the people who are putting these people on, not the players themselves who want no expectations, right? Like the players are.
This has nothing to do with what they want. It's all about media perception.
This
To
is
me,
all
at least.
interesting too because Donovan Mitchell, who you just mentioned, like you probably don't consider Donovan Mitchell to be amongst the elite superstars of the game, but
I
he's
do
a
now.
first team All NBA player. So
Right.
now would be the time that you would put expectations on the Cavs. Oh, you had the most dominant first round series in NBA history. Why wouldn't you put the expectations on Cleveland?
Yet they have no expectations. In fact, I would say the NBA doesn't want Cleveland anywhere near their NBA finals. I mean,
I just thought of a good one. This person, last 2 seasons, has been living at the land of no expectations.
Okay, I
but
think I know.
his time is up. He needs to go. Because next year, he's not going to be at the land of no
it's not the
expectations.
same person.
boy.
Wemby.
Ooh, oh, yeah.
He has been living
Next
in the
year?
land of you are the future. No pressure, though.
Off of an injury, though?
I think you got De'Aaron Fox. I think it's his 3rd year, right? Am I wrong? This is not the rookie year, right? This is his 2nd year, right?
Next year will be his 3rd
Right,
year.
that's what I mean. So we're entering that 3rd year. You have De'Aaron Fox. You got to make the playoffs next year, right? If you're Wemby.
There's yes, he is. He's
That's
been living in
expectations.
but
He's
exiting.
packing up.
He's
He's
on
had a
his
nice
way.
2-year vacation.
Yeah.
He's you know that sad last day of vacation.
Plus,
That's what
Chris,
got
he's
right now.
playing for an organization where Tim Duncan is one, David Robinson is one. Like, the expectation is high there.
He had
So
to book the
yes.
entire first class though, so he can really stretch out before he leaves. But Jeremy's got a decent one, I think.
Jimmy Butler. He got to capitalize off of it. Being with the Heat, being an 8 seed,
What
there
are we-
were no expectations.
then.
And then he
Currently, he's
no, but
got
hold on.
expectations.
Then
exceeded
he
them.
thrives up. Then the next 2 seasons, there were no expectations for that team to be so good because everybody felt like he wasn't surrounded by talent, and he's capitalized off of living in the land of no expectations, but was just shipped
I agree.
to the land of
You can't
expectations.
say that with the Heat culture. Like all we do is win. How can we
Well,
say
that's
there's
us
no
down
expectation?
here.
Time out, guys. When Jimmy Butler got here, Stan Van Gundy was saying, if he's your best player, your team's not very good.
Right, his whole time down here,
Jimmy
it was the
proved
land of
everyone
no
wrong.
expectations.
Yes.
He was right.
Yeah.
Can I argue that the red carpet is being rolled
The
out?
finals twice.
And the greatest guest in the history of this island of no man's land is on the way.
That's not what this place is called.
And what's it called?
It's
again?
called
No
land of no
expectations.
expectation.
Land of
No
no
man's land.
expectation.
No man's land
Yes.
is a different place.
That's
Really
like
botched that.
I would
over
hate
the
that.
other ocean.
I would hate no man land. Rolling out the red carpet for LeBron James.
Wow.
Ooh, for the first time in his entire career. His whole career has been the land of expectations.
He's planning a trip there. He's like looking at like Expedia. He's like, what
I
am
would
doing here? How many
argue
nights can I
that
stay there?
championships has, like, if you're triaging things that matter the most for him, championships has moved down the list. And what's more important for him is another year of setting these ridiculous records. Wow, nobody's done this at 41, and having the ultimate retirement tour. Like the perfect ending to him, not involve championship, no pressure whatsoever.
Who do you think has less expectations, LeBron James or Bronny James?
Wow.
That's a tough one. No, it's not. What's the ceiling on Bronny James?
You're
His
the basketball
dad's
expert.
ceiling?
No,
Because
I
that's
mean,
where he lives.
As long as his dad plays.
Do you think that? Do you think, Izzy, that LeBron would switch teams and end his career not playing with Bronny?
Yeah, I think he would.
I think Bronny would just be part of any deal LeBron's in.
What's interesting is that
Right.
it was just reported by The Athletic that people close to LeBron James aren't ruling out the possibility of him finishing his career elsewhere from LA.
Of
Quote,
course.
Isn't that
So
the
might
first
go
whisper
ahead.
of an actual move. Like that's the only. It happens when you start saying it, right?
All right, I have a hypothetical for you guys.
I love it.
It's a fun one.
Okay.
Okay. So LeBron says, you know what? My career's winding down. I want things to end the right way. I want, leave like on a positive note everywhere. Like I went back to Cleveland. I did things the right way. I was out in LA, delivered them a championship. But there's one spot that there may still be some bad blood there. And I want mad love, So he calls and he
Knicks?
says, hey, Mickey, listen.
You're so fine.
I don't like the way things ended, wrapping up my Hall of Fame career. I know that, things are a little bit better between us. At some point, the number will be up in the rafters, maybe a statue, who knows. But I want to end things the right way. I'm not happy with the way things went. You and I, we've had a great relationship. I want to do you a solid also. I was talking to KD. Like, KD's down. Like, we want to have, like, one last hurrah, like a big bang, like to end the career, like just a going out party. Maybe we make a run. Maybe, we get you one more championship. Get us one more championship. But we're not doing this with Pat. Like, that is just beyond repair. We're not. We want to do this the right way, but no Pat. But you get me and you get KD.
Me. The 40-year-old
and we figured it out. You know what? Andy's a genius with the numbers. He'll figure out how to make the numbers work. We're not here to break the bank. We'll play with Bam. We'll play with Tyler. We'll play with whoever we have to. But it's going to be me and KD. We want to come to Miami and end our career here, but we're not doing this with Pat.
And
what do you do?
Build me the statue before we start playing, so I have a statue while I'm.
Well,
still
they'll
on
figure
the
that out. But
They'll
the
figure
question
that out, but
is,
what do you do?
What do you
Yeah,
do? Do you
yeah.
take Kevin Durant and LeBron James if it means that Pat has got to go?
Absolutely.
A 41-year-old LeBron James.
Wow. But he comes with Kevin Durant.
And like 38-year-old,
35-year-old Kevin Durant.
How old is Pat Riley? What has he done for me lately? No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Of course you do that. Not only do you do that,
Pat
but
would do that.
Pat Riley on the way out is like,
Step
you're welcome.
aside.
I'm
Yeah.
still
That would be
taking
a way
credit
to go
out.
out. The thing, right? You get them technically, even if the only reason you get them is
Yes.
because they don't want to be with you, and then you step out and you say, "Hey, congratulations, here you go,
He
I'm
walks
gone."
off into the sunset before the championship is even won because he knows they're going to win a championship. I think that's
Hands it off to the next front office.
But then everyone that said, you know what, Pat was holding them back, then they get proven right if they win a championship as soon as he's gone.
And what does he care?
Yeah, but he made
fixed
the
it.
ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh my God! Talk about heat culture. Holy
That's a way to go
crap.
out.
Yeah,
His
it
career
is.
could
I'll
end.
sacrifice my career for the
Yes.
betterment of the franchise.
We'll
how
even
much
throw
I
in
care.
Jeremy too.
Billy,
Wait.
this is perhaps the
Deal!
greatest hypothetical you've ever offered.
Where do I go? Am I going to Los Angeles for a player to be named later?
They would, if this happens, they will name maybe 9th Street after Billy Gill.
If I can't do the Heat games, can I still do the Marlins games?
Unbelievable, Billy.